The Smurfs, being inventive and eager to help, decided to make a change starting that very day. Handy Smurf, always the problem solver, had a bright idea. "Let's create a Smurf recycling day," he suggested with a sparkle in his eyes. All the Smurfs cheered, and immediately, they began to organize everything. Brainy Smurf grabbed a notepad and started drafting a plan. "First," he declared, "we must sort everything into categories: wood, metal, paper, and those tricky potion bottles." The next morning, under the warm golden sun, every Smurf in the village rolled up their sleeves and got to work. Clumsy Smurf and Hefty Smurf hauled broken chairs and tables into the central square, where Vanity Smurf was already designing a new mosaic from discarded glass bottles. Meanwhile, Smurfette, with her green thumb, lovingly turned plastic wrappers into colorful flower pots, adding a burst of joy to her treasured garden. She said with a smile, "Now, everyone can have a piece of the garden." Each Smurf contributed in their own special way. Jokey Smurf, with a knowing wink, surprised everyone with recycled gift boxes, each one containing the perfect joke to brighten someone's day. Even Lazy Smurf got into the spirit, creating comfy cushions from torn blankets, perfect for an afternoon nap. As the sun began to set, the village transformed into a vibrant, resourceful haven. The once cluttered corners of the forest were now alive with creativity and care. Papa Smurf looked around at the village full of laughter and friendship. He patted Handy Smurf on the back. "You see, Smurfs," Papa Smurf declared, "when we work together, there's magic in everything we do. And a clean, green forest is the most magical of all." From that day on, the Blue Forest was not only magical but also clean and green, thanks to the Smurfs' determination to reduce waste and embrace the joy of reusing. Every month, Smurf Recycling Day became an event everyone looked forward to, ensuring their beloved home stayed as enchanting as their community. Brainy Smurf stood in the middle of the village, surrounded by his fellow Smurfs, and cleared his throat. "Dear Smurfs, I have an idea," he began with excitement glittering in his eyes. "It's called Smurfcycling, a circular way of living. Instead of throwing things away, let's repair, reuse, and recycle them." All the Smurfs leaned in, curious and intrigued. Handy Smurf immediately raised his hand, bubbling with enthusiasm. "I can turn broken brooms into birdhouses," he exclaimed. He imagined little feathered friends chirping happily in their new recycled homes. Vanity Smurf wasn't to be left out. "And I can make the most fabulous fashion accessories out of old buttons and cloth," he chimed in, already envisioning necklaces and bracelets that would gleam in the sun, rivaling his lovely reflection. Surprisingly, even Grouchy Smurf, known for his constant grumbling, found a way to contribute. "I hate trash, but I love compost," he declared, catching everyone off guard. Grouchy Smurf decided to oversee the village's compost heap, ensuring a fruitful cycle of organic waste back into the rich soil. The entire Smurf village buzzed with activity, converting every nook into a creative corner. Collection centers for glass, metal, and compost sprouted up like wildflowers. Smurfs brought stacks of materials that once seemed useless, now with newfound potential. Under Brainy Smurf's guidance, they learned to make new things from old materials. They discovered the satisfaction of giving items a second life and the joy of inventiveness in every task. Anytime someone finished a project, the village would gather to admire it, bathed in the pride and happiness of their shared efforts. And so, Smurfcycling became more than just recycling. It was a way of living filled with fun, creativity, and a sense of togetherness. The Smurf village glittered anew, not just from the shining creations, but from the smiles of its joyful inhabitants. They hadn't just cleaned their little piece of the world, they had transformed it into a place where everything and everyone had value. In the heart of the Smurfs' lush forest, a new story of resources, positivity, and cooperation had begun. One bright and sunny morning, the familiar village of the little blue creatures known as the Smurfs awoke to a delightful sight. The once quiet forest around them was coming alive as animals returned with great joy. Buzzing busily, bees flitted from flower to flower, hovering happily over recycled flower pots that dotted the village. Nearby, birds chirped and sang as they settled into comfortable nests made from pieces of upcycled furniture, skillfully crafted by handyman Smurf's artistic touch. The river, which once ran murky and slow, now flowed with a brilliant clarity, reflecting the azure sky and the lush greenery that lined its banks. It seemed as though the water sparkled with every ripple, a gleaming sign of the forest's renewal. The Smurfs gathered in the village square, their curious eyes wide with wonder at the vibrant life around them. Suddenly, a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, carrying with it the scent of fresh flowers and earth. In a swirl of wind and colorful petals, Mother Nature herself appeared before the excited Smurfs. "Well done, my little blue friends," Mother Nature spoke softly, her voice as soothing as a gentle spring rain. Her eyes shone with a warmth that enveloped the hearts of all who gazed upon her. "Your commitment to circular living has restored balance to our precious blue forest. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed. You are now the guardians of nature." A cheer erupted from the Smurfs, a joyous sound that echoed through the trees and floated up to the open sky. They linked hands and danced around in a circle, celebrating the impact of their small but meaningful changes. Their hearts swelled with pride, and they laughed with the knowledge that their love for the forest had made a wonderful difference. And so, the Smurfs continued their life of harmony with nature, eternally grateful for the connection they had fostered and the beauty they had helped to restore. Once upon a time in the magical land of Smurfs, Papa Smurf decided he wanted to share the Smurfs' wisdom with the whole world. He had written a special book called Blueprints for a Blue Planet. This book was no ordinary book. It was filled with tips and tricks on how to live in harmony with nature. Papa Smurf's book talked about the 5 magical R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, repair, and respect nature. These were the secrets to living like a Smurf: small, smart, and sustainable. The Smurfs believed in using only what they needed, fixing things when they broke, and always showing kindness to the forest, which was their home. Papa Smurf knew that if these ideas spread far and wide, magical changes could happen. So, he decided to send copies of his book throughout the magical world. Elves, those graceful beings of the forests, received their copies with delight. They loved the idea of reusing old leaves to create beautiful, new art. Gnomes, who were always busy with their underground inventions, found new joy in repairing their creations instead of just making new ones. And even humans who sometimes forgot the magic around them started to find little ways to reduce their waste and recycle more often. As the forests and cities all over the magical world began to change, they became greener and more beautiful. Butterflies danced happily in meadows, and rivers flowed clear and clean. Everyone could see the changes and feel the happiness flowing from one person to another. Whenever anyone, be it a curious human child, a wandering elf, or a pondering gnome, asked about how they could help save the planet, the answer was always the same. "Live like a Smurf," they would say with a smile. "Be small, be smart, and be sustainable."